We're with Coach Heupel here, year 5. Coach, you excited?
Year 4. Man, it's great to be out here. Obviously, we were limited in our capacity today, but for the guys to get an opportunity to play in front of our fans, their family, big day here on Rocky Top. Got an opportunity to see a bunch of young guys grow up today, too.
So we'll start with a kickoff, as Dylan Sampson will be back to receive on the kickoff from JT Carver, who's very much in the mix in their kicking competition, along with Max Gilbert and Josh Turbeville, as they look to replace a grad transfer from last year, Charles Campbell, who was their place kicker. Turbeville handled the kickoffs last year. So this is just to get things underway. Ball off the tee, and then Sampson back deep, and then they'll start with their first possession at the 25-yard line. Last year, Josh Turbeville handling the kickoffs, 4th in the SEC with a 72% touchback rate, and that one all the way to the goal line. And so our format for today: white team the offense, orange team the defense, and they'll trade possessions. Points not live, 15-minute quarters in our first half, and then a running clock in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Big goal, get everybody out of here happy, healthy, and with a little bit more experience under the belt. Dustin, after we sat down and talked with Josh Heupel yesterday with Tim Banks, the defensive coordinator, what are the things you're most eager to see this afternoon? So Iamaleava under pressure and throws it away on the opening possession of the game. Under pressure there from Jeremiah Thielander, breaking through on the offensive line. Led Tennessee freshman last year with 35 tackles in the 2023 season. Certainly getting more experience, and we'll see plenty of him today. A reminder, Keenan Peely, the 7th-year linebacker who was hurt against Virginia in the opener last year, not playing today as a precautionary measure. And the handoff here on 2nd down goes to Deshaun Bishop, the redshirt freshman from right here in Knoxville, and the tackle by Caleb Perry. Iamaleava with a 3rd down and 6.
You can see, look at him diagnosing the defense, having a chance to make the line.
And he gets just a 4-man rush to throw to the outside, just past the original line of scrimmage, and taken in by Chaz Nimrod on the edge. Now, interesting too in this game is that this year you can have the helmet communication in college football, the addition of the 2-minute warning as well. But at the speed at which the Volunteers play, they're still going to be using sidelines in from the, or signals in from the sidelines, because they feel that's the fastest and most effective way to communicate what they're doing.
I also think it's important too, when you know you're dealing with a freshman quarterback, you don't want to put too much on his plate. And also you want everybody on the same page, right? So everybody takes a look over to the sideline, they signal in the call, and then sort of at the last second, Coach Heupel can get in the ear of Nico and maybe tell him to look a certain way, or take a peek at where the Mike linebacker is.
So the second unit going to be led by Gaston Moore at quarterback. He's got Khalifa Keefe in the backfield with him. Moore, the redshirt senior, 10 of 17 through the air in his career. And Josh Heupel really pleased with the progress he's made in this spring. Feels the pressure, gets it to the outside, and it's Dayton Sneed who makes the catch and gets across the 35-yard line.
Again, the tempo is going to go fast here, Mike. Even with your second-team quarterback, you want to run the same offense, the same tempo. And again, you see everybody looking off to the sidelines, calling the plays. Remember, Coach Heupel not calling the plays during the spring game.
Moore fakes the handoff, fastball to the 39-yard line, and the first touch for Chris Brazel, the second. Hoping to be yet another impact transfer wide receiver here as he's taken down by Jalen McMurray. That's 2 transfers, one at wide receiver, and McMurray, the transfer at cornerback, coming in from Temple.
Yeah, and I like that tackle by McMurray. You know, play cornerback in this conference, you got to be physical on the outside. That was excellent.
Moore with a clean pocket, and it's a little bit too tall on the outside. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6. First look to the edge there for Mike Matthews, the top recruit in the class of 2024. Defense shows blitz off the edge. Flag, it's a free play. Deep ball, single coverage deep downfield, and a little bit too much on it. But it looked like there was a jump from the defense on that blitz from the slot.
Offside on the defense, number 94, 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
So Moore here at quarterback on this second team. fourth-year transfer from UCF, a walk-on, has played in 7 games in his career, but no doubt instrumental in the transition to the starting role for Nico Iamaleava. Blitz comes again after the penalty, and on the handoff, it is just enough for first down yardage there for the sophomore running back Khalifa Keith. Edwin Spillman, the freshman, comes up to meet him.
And I got to tell you, Mike, I'm right behind the play, and I heard that. It sent chills into my bones.
Pressure coming, check down throw. Goes over the middle as they get toward midfield from Moore, who felt that pressure coming.
And Peely not playing in this game. You're going to see a lot of Spillman. One of the great lines that Coach Banks told us yesterday was that he craves violence from the linebacker position. Another good throw there over the middle.
And a hard hit as well. Dayton Sneed, the redshirt freshman, pulls that ball in and gets hit by Boo Carter. So the second team unit working well here. And a handoff on first down is bottled up right at the line of scrimmage. Offense this year returns 46% of its production from a year ago. And the run game has been elite. They've run for more than 2,500 yards in 3 straight years for the first time ever. Last year, 9th in FBS at 205 yards per game on the ground.
It's so funny too, Mike. You know, a lot of people think that this Tennessee offense is just, you know, running, gun, and throw, but they've had great running backs. And again, you got 2 guys that are going into the NFL draft this year. Both will be selected. And now you hopefully have another one in Dylan Sampson, but you still have to have a couple more. We talked about that in the open, and they're really looking for somebody to step up.
Good pocket, ball lofted deep near sideline and incomplete. Just a little bit too long.
They went to Brazel on that 2nd and long, took a shot. They got him single coverage here again.
And they see an opening in the defense with the handoff. It's a run short of the first down as Spillman once again comes up to make the tackle on Khalifa Keith. And they like Spillman a lot. You've got 2 new coaches on the staff this year. William Inge, one of those, coming in to coach the linebackers, and says of Spillman, he's one of my favorite players to coach because I never have to speed him up. I only have to slow him down because of the way he wants to play and get to the ball.
He's a fast dude. He's very young, as you talked about there. But to have that knack for the football is pretty impressive. More to come from Rocky Top.
Post-game concert to come later on today. Big baseball game tonight as the Vols take on LSU, and enthusiasm is high going into year 4 of the Josh Heupel era of Tennessee football. Coming off a 9-4 season last year, we are just 2 drives in here to the spring game, and a first look at the freshman from Savannah, Georgia, Jake Merklinger, who's taken over here at quarterback for this drive. And he gets out of the pocket for a nice scramble there. Justin, they're really excited about him. Enrolled, went through bowl practices, and chose the Vols over 27 other offers. The number 8 pocket passer in his high school class.
Yeah, and he's gotten better and better throughout this spring. Coach talked about the first scrimmage they had, how much he grew. Great chance for him to compete for that backup role behind Nico.
Offsides, and that blows the play dead. Yes, a diminished crowd here today for stadium that usually seats about 102,000.
Offside on the defense, number 51. 5-yard penalty.
First down and 10, Merklinger. He sends Patrick Wilk out on the flat. A flag is thrown pre-snap, and the slant caught just shy of midfield, which will bring up 2nd down and 9 pending the penalty flag. Titus Rohr, the tight end, with the grab. That's a violation against the offense.
Yeah, that's always spring ball. You're all about the fundamentals, as you talked about there, Mike, and you don't want to have mistakes. You don't want to have penalties. And remember, a lot of these things that you're running, whether it be defensive schemes or offensive plays, a lot of it can tend to be vanilla because it's an install period here with a lot of young players. You got transfers who are just coming in. You got a lot of the incoming freshman players who have enrolled early. And so you're not putting the kitchen sink at these guys this soon before fall camp. And by the way, you got a few more guys coming here for fall camp that they're looking to step up as well.
Spillman with a great job off the edge there, gets credit for the sack. This offense under Josh Heupel has been prolific in just 3 years. They've broken 19 team offensive records. That's another offside, so why not take a deep shot down the sideline?
I almost caught it, Mike.
Long.
I almost had it.
I trust you.
It was right in my hands. Now, it was a great throw, great arm strength there, just a little outside.
Defense number 98, 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Although, don't they always say there's a reason you ended up on defense, right? 3rd down and 10. Against a 4-man rush. Great pocket here. Ball over the middle. Oh, and it's just off the hands. Right down the seam for Jackson Locke, the redshirt junior wide receiver.
Boy, Ed Locke wide open. You said it, right down the seam. Just a couple of inches past the outstretched arms.
And see how well he can execute that here. First punt, 48 yards.
And this is one of your
And that's to the
transfers
11.
with McCoy, yeah.
49 yards on that punt. Action continues. 2:18 in the first here with the orange and white game. The ones are back on the field here. 2:18 to go in the first in the orange and white game. And there's Chris Brazzell, redshirt sophomore out of Midland, Texas. First-year wide receiver transfer from Tulane as he comes back out on the field here with Nico Iamaleava and company. And Iamaleava showing off his ability to get up there. Of course, anytime that they close in on him, the play is going to be blown dead. But we saw him do that last year in their bowl game. 3 touchdowns on the ground. And Dustin, he's really excited about having the new weapon out there in Brazzell on the outside.
Yeah, Brazzell's a really fun prospect here. You know, he could have stayed at Tulane. Willie Fritz and that offensive staff, they decided to go on to Houston, and so there were options for Brazzell. He could have stayed there. He had a great role. He was a very productive receiver for the Green Wave, but decides to come here to UT. And then when you look at it on the outside, he's 6'5", right? But he's a little bit different than Thornton, who also goes about 6'5", 6'6". And here he is, wide open on the outside. And you can see already Nico trying to get the football to number 11. The thing that's interesting too about Brazzell, you know, Brazzell's a former high school basketball player, so he's got that ability to go up and make plays, especially in the red zone. I think that's going to give this offense a big threat.
The Brazzell has looked good here in the early going. We've seen some deep balls thrown toward Mike Matthews, and the freshman Boo Carter is back to receive this punt. He's been in the mix in their return game and takes that at the 40-yard line.
I mean, young players have time to come here and develop, and even though they struggled last year, and some guys transferred, and some guys going to the NFL.
Gaston Moore at the helm here on this drive. And he looks for a quick throw across the middle, has the completion to midfield, and a little bit of extra effort to pick up the first down. 11 yards on the play.
He looks like he could be playing center for the basketball team.
Ball is tipped and incomplete, intended for Dante Thornton. They're really excited, Dustin, about this tight end group as well, with Miles Kitzelman coming in from Alabama, Holden Stays coming in from Notre Dame as well.
Yeah, and this is an offense with Coach Heupel that really wants to have 2 tight ends involved in their offense. They've had 2 tight ends darn near every season that Coach has been here at UT. And now you look at maybe Kitzelman and Stays kind of taking over that role as the 2 big tight ends in this offense.
Ball to the edge is incomplete as Jordan Matthews gets a hand in there and breaks it up on the ball intended for Dante Thornton. And that takes us to the end of the first quarter. Defense and special teams on display here in the early going on an idyllic afternoon in Knoxville, Tennessee. Year 4 of the Josh Heupel era, and boy, have records fallen in fast fashion. 19 different team offensive records have fallen. The best scoring teams ever have been during his tenure. And in 3 years, Tennessee averaging 39 points a game in 3 seasons. Only Ohio State and Georgia have averaged more over the last 3 seasons in college football. So far today, though, no scoring as Gaston Moore is at quarterback here to start the second quarter. And a toss over the middle. It's Charlie Browder with the catch. And he's right to the first down marker at the 39-yard line. So Moore, the redshirt senior, zings that 35-yard line catch. And another first down. So they're moving the ball quickly here. They get it out to the edge with Dayton Sneed making the catch from Moore, the 4th-year transfer from UCF. Played in 7 games in his career and with having a younger quarterback taking over here, he's gotten the most reps of his career during this spring practice.
Sauce, I'm back.
And now a quick stoppage. Aiden Bussell, the redshirt freshman offensive lineman, a little bit slow, but back to his feet there, getting up after that throw.
Mike, I'm back with you. I was talking NASA with Josh Dobbs.
NASA.
Well, we're talking about the Clips. Remember, he spent a little time in Cleveland. We're going to get him here momentarily. I always find that fascinating too. When you're a transfer and you come in here, especially when you're a veteran, how do you fit in, right? I mean, how do the guys respond to you in the locker room? I think that's one of the most important things. And I always think it's good that guys get an opportunity to get in here early when you make that transfer, play in spring ball, participate, as opposed to sometimes these guys transfer in, they're just going right into the season. So now an opportunity for the guys to really mesh prior to fall camp.
Especially when you're going up against guys who a year ago you had to say, hey, I don't like those guys. We're trying to beat those guys and get to the SEC championship game. And now those are the guys you're going to war with.
You change the ties real quickly.
So 3rd and 1 as they get the ball into the red zone. And the handoff to Wilk does get them the first down. Here's an interesting spot, Dustin, to watch how the defense fares here. That's one of the areas that Josh Heupel said they want to improve for 2024 is getting stops in the red zone and not settling for 3, but getting 6.
Well, and I think that's where you talk about those corners on the outside and can they match up with the big, tall wide receivers, especially on this drive. I mean, we're looking at Thornton here, who's standing right in front of me as he goes about 6'6", 6'5". 214.
That's the linebacker Jalen Smith heading off to the sideline for the Vols defense. Second most in FBS as the offense goes to work here in the red zone. And there's good blocking in front, and we have our first touchdown of the afternoon. Touchdown for Dayton Sneed, the redshirt freshman wide receiver, and he puts the first 6 on the board on a 13-yard catch and scramble into the end zone.
Heck of a job by Sneed on the outside. You'll see the freshman defensive back Farouk come in there, 26. Just kind of whiffs on the tackle, and a great job by Sneed finding the end zone.
So here comes the extra point. Max Gilbert, the redshirt freshman from Memphis. And he puts that up and through. A really exciting addition is Braylon Staley, the incoming freshman, number 21 wide receiver in the high school class. And that's going to make the coaching tape there. Even though no return, you want to be as good as you can on special teams as Deshaun Bishop comes off the field after the kick from JT Carver. Jake Merklinger leading the offense here. The freshman, 6'3", 205 out of Savannah, Georgia. Enrolled in January. He's got Hunter Barnes, the walk-on, with him in the backfield. Good pocket, ball to the outside. And a 9-yard pickup with the throw to the edge. Catch there by Jack Henry Jacobic. Now to the opposite side. And this is an interesting point too, Dustin, as Trey Weary gets the grab, is when guys transfer in here, especially heard it from the tight ends, but you hear from the wide receivers, one of the differences for this offense is how wide their splits are for the receivers.
I was just noticing that. I mean, they're splitting out well beyond the numbers as there's a deep shot down the field and a little bit too much contact. I think you let that one go. I'm a former defensive back, by the way.
Pass interference on the defense, number 15. 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot, and it carries an automatic first down.
Get defenders split out from the core, and whether those guys are going to be involved in the play or not, it still is something you have to pay attention to. And so you get guys out there well beyond the numbers. You can see both sides, but when they run those stack formations, that's what's really interesting. And you throw those quick sort of now screens, almost like design runs. Merklinger, nice wheels there, getting outside the pocket there.
Merklinger, low snap, handoff goes to Hunter Barnes, the redshirt sophomore walk-on out of Memphis, and the number 5 quarterback in that group. Closing in on 5 minutes to the half as Merklinger waits in the pocket and steps up to run again. He's got some space to the 10, and he is in for the touchdown. A 26-yard scramble.
You know, that's one of the things they really like about Merklier is his ability to run.
And now Josh Turbyville, the redshirt sophomore, Knoxville native, for the extra point to try and even things up. Last year, their kickoff man, and in a three-man race along with Carver and Gilbert to be the place kicking specialists for this year's team. Merklinger taking the opportunity with an open field to run to the checkerboards.
A Volunteer legend, Josh Downs. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. It's always good to be back on Rocky Top.
How about this weather today, man?
Gorgeous, gorgeous. We were playing some golf yesterday on the links, and it was tough out here in Knoxville, but it opened up a great day here on Saturday for some football.
Big golfer?
Big golfer, big golfer. We had a good competition between all the VFLs out there at Tennessee National. It was a good day.
Who's the best?
My team may have won, but you can't win your own tournament, so I won't say.
All right, so I do have to ask you, you played for the Browns, and you were in Cleveland last week. I'm a Cleveland guy too, by the way, and you love space. We all know about that your history with NASA and all that stuff. So what was the eclipse like? You were in Cleveland, you saw it.
It was absolutely amazing, like to see totality, to see it downtown Cleveland on the Great Lakes at the Great Lakes Science Center with NASA and the STEM and the kids there, man. It was a beautiful event to take in. It's really once in a lifetime to take it in that setting and that experience. So it was a great time, and it was great to be back in Cleveland with some good weather.
I'm sure you're considering getting into space or doing something after football, but you're still playing. You've been in the league for a while now. You've been on a million teams. I asked you, we were off the air, is this your 8th team?
I think so. At this point, it's like might as well get all the helmets. It'll be a crazy collection. But no, I'm just grateful for the next opportunity to be out in San Fran. I got Juwan Jennings out there. I got some familiar faces on a really good team that's played a lot of really good football with a tremendous coaching staff and front office. So I'm excited for my next opportunity, man. And we'll see where the world takes us. It goes. You take it one day at a time. Put your best foot forward. Maximize all the opportunities that are thrown your way. And you do that, man. When you look up, you'll be very proud of your journey.
I have to ask you. Last year, one of the great stories in the NFL was you. You traded to Arizona, and then you end up in Minnesota like the next week, it seemed like. It was crazy. And then you come in the game against the Vikings and lead a remarkable comeback. How cool was that?
It was so cool, man. Like, it was a whirlwind of a couple weeks, just like getting traded and not thinking you're going to get traded, and trade deadline happening. Oh, we got a big play going on. Okay.
What do you think about that play?
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Crazy seeing Big O with the tackle all the way down the field. That was a great hustle by Big O, man. He's awesome. Amari does a great job on and off the field, representing the.
We'll turn around here.
But yeah, it was a crazy story, man. Crazy journey throughout the year. But I'm thankful for it. It makes me who I am.
Oh, how about that throw? Tell me about that throw from Nico.
There we go. We've been waiting to see something right there. That was a great throw, great drive. Good to see Nico lead the ball, snap for a touchdown. I'll be excited to see that all fall this year.
There's been so many great quarterbacks to play for the Volunteers, and fans here in Volunteer Nation are pumped about Nico. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, I think one is just maturity that I felt in the times I've been able to spend some time around the guys. I was able to throw with them a couple months ago, and just the way it was like a Friday night on a college campus in the middle of the winter, and he had the entire receiver corps in the complex throwing with me to get some work in. And I think that shows the maturity that he has, the maturity that this team has, and that's the leadership that they'll need to go in throughout the season, throughout a really good and tough conference in the SEC.
So you just signed with San Francisco recently. How's that process been? What are your expectations for the upcoming season? I'm
looking forward to it, man. I've watched them from afar. I played them last year when I was in Arizona, so they have a tremendous team. So I'm excited, man, to embrace my role in that QB room and help us hopefully take the step which they've gotten so close to over the past 4 years and getting that Super Bowl.
Josh, we appreciate your time so much, man. Best of luck.
No doubt. Thank you, and go Vols always.
The white team takes a 14-7 advantage here in the orange and white game in Knoxville. 36 seconds to go in the first half, and a beautiful strike. Nico Iamaleava to finding Chaz Nimrod more at quarterback as they start out at the 25. Went to the college football playoff championship game, and Darrell Sims, who joined the staff on February 20th, coaching the running backs. And you'll learn more about those new additions to the staff coming up at the half. Caleb Webb the grab on the edge. 17 seconds in the first. Offense calling timeout.
Timeout, offense.
Sort of rally around you or listen to you. Obviously, I wasn't playing quarterback, and he is. But now that it's his job, as what a throw that is.
Moore lets it fly, and the timeout pays off because Mike Matthews, the number 5 wide receiver in the ESPN 300, takes it, runs 63 yards, and a touchdown with some time to spare.
Wow, Rocky Top salivating now as they see the young receiver making some plays. What speed on the outside. When we had a chance to chat with Coach Heupel this week, he was raving about Mike Matthews, and this is a guy that really probably could play defense or offense.
You talk about the many ways in which making a jump to the SEC is difficult. Max Gilbert with the extra point is that anybody who's playing college football at the Power 5 level, no matter where you're coming from, save for maybe playing at IMG Academy in Florida, you are far and away the best player on your team, in your league, maybe in your region, your state, and all of a sudden you're playing against the best guys from everywhere that they came from. The orange and white Tennessee spring game heading into year number 4 of the Josh Heupel era. Quiet first quarter, but things really got heated up in the second as Nico Iamaleava takes over the reins following the Citrus Bowl win last year against Iowa, where he scored 4 touchdowns, 3 of those on the ground, showing off his great decision making and his arm. Iamaleava perfect through the air. And Moore 10 of 14 for 151 yards. We're probably going to see a little bit more down the depth chart. Coaching staff said that Nico would probably go about 20 snaps here as we get ready to start the third quarter. So that means we'll see Navy Schuler, the redshirt freshman, and perhaps the walk-on redshirt freshman, Ryan Dameron at quarterback. And he takes over here 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line with Hunter Barnes with him in the backfield. So empty set. And they call him down as he took off and started to run. 2nd down 13. The throw ball pops loose in and out of the hands of Trey Weary.
Yeah, I think anybody who was coming into this game thinking that the offensive line was going to have a great day were probably fooling themselves. This defensive line, mostly healthy, mostly playing in this game. As you mentioned, the offensive line maybe down 4 starters potentially in this game. So a lot of the backups playing against some of the starters, more so in the first half than what we'll see here in the second and third quarter as we get a little bit of a running clock and get an opportunity to see some of the younger players try to make their mark.
And the most enthusiastic comment yesterday from Tim Banks, who's going into year 4 as the defensive coordinator here for the Vols, was about the defensive line that he says is the tip of the spear. Everything else flows through what they do. If they're able to get pressure, that makes everybody's life easier, and that's why they want that position group so deep, to keep so many fresh bodies cycling through there and make life hectic for opposing offensive lines.
Well, and I got to tell you, when I played way back in the day, of course at Ohio State, our defensive line was fantastic. It made my life in the secondary so much easier. And so when you talk about trying to, make that pass coverage, the pass defense better, I think it really does start up front.
James Pierce Jr., first team All-SEC last year, and the SEC's leading returning tackle for loss and sack leader coming back this year. Nimrod on the edge.
How about Nico getting another series here in the second half?
A perfect 7 for 7 through the air for Iamaleava. Last year played 5 games in 2023. His most regular season action came at the end of the year as he loads up and goes deep down the sideline.
Obviously, it's tough to lose a quarterback like Joe Milton, but Nico steps in with all kinds of hype. And I think he's got a really, really good head on his shoulders to be able to handle this.
Jackson Ross on to punt here to Book Carter, the freshman. Dustin, you and I took in practice yesterday morning in the indoor facility because I'm amazed, by the way, that Josh Dobbs got out and played golf yesterday. It was raining sideways in Knoxville yesterday, but watching Jackson Ross punt, which he can do with both feet, by the way, I'm surprised that there aren't a few holes in the ceiling of the indoor facility with how much velocity he gets on the ball. That one goes for 47 yards.
Yeah, and it didn't matter which leg. Still got some of the starters in here. Brazel's in the slot right in front of me.
Play action, first down. And that's Dante Thornton coming back after the ankle injury. Gain of 14 That injury against Missouri
talking,
in
Thornton.
November. And they said that when he got hurt, fortunately, by the time that they came back for the second semester in January, he was just about ready to go. Now the second year since he transferred over from Oregon, where he spent 2 seasons with the Ducks. Dustin, he's going to be a crucial part of the offense in 2024.
A player like with his talent, he could have transferred again if he wanted to. Instead, he comes back to Tennessee with a lot to prove. And now when you add another receiver like Brazel on the other side, I like what they're doing. And again, keeping these guys in through the third quarter is interesting to see. I really do believe they want to see the chemistry they can build with this offense and those guys being on the field at the same time.
This is 3rd down and 8. Flag is thrown at the snap. Deep ball downfield, a couple of strides clear. It's Brazel to the 10, the 5, and that's a touchdown.
And you're going to have a flag.
Offside on the defense. That penalty is declined. Result of play is a touchdown.
He beats Jalen McMurray right off the line of scrimmage, and I'm not so sure exactly who it was on. Did he announce a number, Mike? Because I think McMurray might have been offsides in his defense of Brazel on the outside.
McMurray, the cornerback transfer in from Temple. That's another crucial part, is getting experience in that secondary. He played almost 1,500 snaps for the Owls and comes here with 2 years to play.
A lot of people think when you play corner, playing inside versus outside is very similar. No, it's not. It's much different. And to be able to have that versatility to do that, they always say the more you can do. McMurray can do a lot, but I'll tell you who can do more. How about Chris Brazel taking this one to the house? Battling back from an injury. Bru McCoy, how we doing, man?
Doing great, man. Enjoying it.
How's the rehab process been for you?
It's every day. It's tedious, but it's great. It's fun. You know, I enjoy it.
You know, let's go back to last year. You know, obviously the injury is really frustrating. It happens in the middle of the year. You're off to a good start. How tough was that to have to watch your guys throughout the rest of the season, knowing had you been out there, you'd be able to help the guys?
It was tough. I mean, it was tough at first, and then you realize, like, you know, this is what you as a leader have to do to push them. This is why you were pushing them. So that you go down, you can't be there, you can't be out on the field. Like, you've pushed them enough in the offseason that they can go out and handle business.
So where are you at mentally in terms of what you have left to prove, what you want to show Volunteer Nation here this season?
I think that, I mean, what I want to show Vol Nation is just that the amount of work we put in, we deserve to go have the success. And that's collective, that's fans, players, coaches, everybody. Like, the success is imminent, and the work's been put in. And then just me personally, I got a lot to prove to myself. Just like an injury like this, you want to come out and show yourself, hey, I'm not only the same player, but I'm better, and I can still improve and push the needle on myself. So, and there's a lot to prove, and there's a lot to go out and do, and that's why I push myself the way I do every day.
There's no doubt people are excited about the wide receiver group. They're really excited about your quarterback, Nico. What have you seen out of him? And you're smiling, man. You're excited about Nico. Talk to me about your young quarterback.
Man, I mean, he's like a receiver's dream. You know, he's an accurate passer. He can extend plays. He's great on his feet, and he's smart, and he's a ball player. So when you're looking at, like, what you got in front of you, there's not a better quarterback, and then he's just a great dude and a great teammate.
And so let's go to that wide receiver room, because that you guys are going to help Nico. A freshman quarterback needs weapons on the outside. You guys have a ton, and then when you get back healthy, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm assuming. How close are you guys in that room? You guys got a bunch of dudes. I'm guessing you guys have a little bit of fun in the quarterback or the wide receiver room.
Man, we do. I mean, it's like a brotherhood. Like, those are my brothers. That's my family. We lean on each other for everything, and it goes off the field too. Like, we really look out for each other, and I think that helps with us all wanting to have, like, success. You know, nobody's really, it's competition, but we want to see us all win, you know.
What have you seen out of the young freshman receiver Matthews?
A lot of maturity, man. Like, he's supposed to be in high school. He's acting like a third, 4th year guy. I mean, he carries himself well. He shows up every day. He doesn't miss stuff. And he's really, like, picked up everything super quick. I couldn't even do it that quick when I came in early, so I commend him for all of that.
We got a chance to watch the video of all the kids that sent you those cards. That was pretty cool, man.
No doubt, yeah. I mean, shout out South Knoxville, for real. Like, that elementary school, all the teachers, everybody, the staff. It was cool to meet them, and I mean, and you got to see how cool that was.
Bru, appreciate the time, and best of luck to you.
Appreciate you.
Here is Bru McCoy. Back to you, Mike.
All right, flag is down on a deep ball into double coverage down the far sideline, and the ball is caught, but unfortunately out of bounds there for Trey Weary on the deep throw with a flag down at the 41.
On the defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
You tack on the responsibilities of being a player, and I can't imagine being a quarterback, having to learn an offense and all these things. So it's certainly a challenge. And
that was Ryan Dameron at quarterback there. Defense sent heavy pressure, so the redshirt freshman walk-on's pass goes incomplete to bring up 4th down and 4. Dameron, who chose the Vols over offers from East Tennessee, Eastern Kentucky, and Jackson Ross with a punt down to the 10 for Jermod McCoy, 47 yards. They said today if you had to put together a starting 2 deep, that McCoy at corner there would be a starter. First-year guy from Oregon State, native of Texas, 3 years to play, and there's going to be chaos every offseason. Jonathan Smith has a phenomenal season for the Beavers.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
Leaves Oregon State, and their conference changing as well. They feel like there's so much untapped potential for Jermod McCoy at corner.
And McCoy is been really kind of fun to watch here throughout this game. I like the 2 young transfers. I guess they're not that young. But you look at McMurray, the transfer from Temple, McCoy from Oregon State. I think they've got a bright future here in the secondary.
So lots of things to be happy about.
By the way, I had the Volunteers in my bracket winning it all.
Easy for you to say now. There's no way for us to fact check that.
Go on ESPN. I got my bracket. I'll show you how bad I was.
You were all in on Dalton Connect.
Man, they could have just got past Purdue.
This was the year you were going to have the perfect bracket, right?
It was close.
Gaston Moore a little bit high on the slant to the outside. 3rd down and 5. Defense drops 7. That's a 1st down throw, a catch, a run, a little bit of nifty move in there from Dayton Sneed, who's had a pretty good day on the outside.
Yards after catch, making guys miss. You love seeing that.
Yeah, 20 yards there on the catch and run. And a handoff nets 5 yards to Khalifa Keith, who's hoping to play a bigger role this year as well. The sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama. Last year was mostly a special teamer, and 11 carries for 24 yards a season ago. Long throw to the numbers. 1 missed tackle, make it 2, and a 3rd is what it takes to bring down Caleb Webb. That's 13 more yards. You go back, Dustin, in the history of this program, 1950 up until 2020, the year before Heupel arrived. That play is blown dead.
And, you know, Joe Milton a season ago and Hendon Hooker before that.
In Heupel's 3 seasons, the Vols have averaged 483 yards a game. That's 4th in the country and ranked 3rd in scoring at 39 points a game, only behind Ohio State and Georgia.
All right, what's your call on 3rd and 18 here?
Do you want what I would do if I were playing Madden or what I expect? Because what I expect is a draw.
I know what you do on Madden.
Chuck it. And instead it ends up with a sack, which of course quarterbacks can't be taken down in this game. But talk about what Tim Banks has done in his 3 seasons as defensive coordinator. 297 tackles for loss, most in the SEC, and 41 sacks last year, Dustin, most since a school record 50 back in the year 2000.
I think he's done a really good job with his defense, and you know, being able to recruit some of these top players for that defensive front certainly helps. I think it's going to be interesting how he's able to mesh that group in the back end, because that's really the most important part of this particular team in this team defense. And remember, Coach Banks is a former defensive back himself by trade, so he spends a lot of time in that room, and so he'll have his hands all over the defensive backs in the secondary as they try to improve.
And for the Vols, as they head into 2024, a really cool schedule. The opener against Chattanooga, week 2, taking on NC State for the first time since 2012. That was a win in Atlanta that year, and only the 2nd trip ever to North Carolina in the last 60 seasons. They'll play that game in Charlotte. Dustin, I think what's really cool about this schedule, though, is from October 12th to November 9th, you've got 4 games plus a bye week in there. And the last time that happened was Tulane in the SEC in 1947, and they left the league in '66.
Got to go on the road to NC State, at Oklahoma, at Arkansas. I mean, it's going to be tough to start it, but if you can somehow get through that little bit of a gauntlet to start the year, you're going to have a chance.
And they did, with Max Gilbert drilling the field goal to finish off the 2024 orange and white game here in Knoxville. Well, Dustin, what we saw today from Nico Iamaleava was impressive. There's lots of reason for optimism based off of not only what we've seen here today, but guys who are returning from injury, sitting out today for whatever the reason might have been, to build a really strong contender in the SEC, which is going to be, as we just talked about moments ago, an even more difficult conference to win in this year.
Yeah, listen, the one thing that stands out to me is speed. I think they got speed on both sides of the football, and that's going to help them in this conference. There's no doubt about that. I was impressed with the quarterback play. We talked a ton about Nico as we went through the broadcast, but I thought I was really impressed with the wide receivers, especially Brazel. The transfer from Tulane was really impressive. And then Matthews, the young freshman, showed a lot as well. I think good things ahead. I'm not saying they're definitely going to be in the playoff, but they've got enough talent to certainly be in that mix.
Multiple recruiting classes in for Josh Heupel. The culture is in place. The depth as good or better than it's ever been. The defense built around a really strong defensive line. Experience brought in the secondary. And talk about a strong culture. Guys who choose to come back and use their 6th year. Cooper Mays, Javontes Spraggins, Bru McCoy, who we heard from during the broadcast. This is a team that is all running the same race together. So now it's time to watch and wait until the start of preseason camp, and then the opener and a challenging SEC schedule for the Tennessee Volunteers. But a high-scoring, exciting, fast-paced offense, fun to watch here this afternoon in Neyland Stadium. Thanks to everybody who joined us here today, whether it was some VFLs like Josh Dobbs, Bru McCoy, Nico Iamaleava, and for Dustin Fox down on the field, our statistician up here in the booth, Kirk McCarley, our spotter, John Tobias, and our producer, Stas Hall. I'm Mike Cousins saying thanks so much for watching, and so long from Knoxville. Great home games, all against SEC opponents, and the last time that happened was Tulane in the SEC in 1947, and they left the league in '66.
Well, that's certainly going to help them, because there's no doubt in college football what a huge home field advantage there is. But to start the season, I mean, a bit of a bugaboo. You got to go on the road to NC State, at Oklahoma, at Arkansas. I mean, it's going to be tough to start it, but if you can somehow get through that little bit of a gauntlet to start the year, you're going to have a chance.
Got a minute 21 on the timer here. And Navy Schuler at the controls, hands it off. 3rd down and 10 to Hunter Barnes, the redshirt sophomore out of Memphis. We did not get to see them today. Dylan Sampson at the top of that depth chart today. No Squirrel White in action, along with Bru McCoy, who's injured. Ethan Davis at tight end, not available for action today. And an incomplete pass there on 4th down and 9. So we'll see another unit come on here for the final minute of offense. So pressure timing here. Josh Turbeville for a straight-on field goal try. A 45-yard attempt to close it out.
And when you're ready, Mike, we've got a special guest down here.
Take it away, D. Fox.
How about we're joined by the starting quarterback of the Volunteers, the new starting quarterback of the Volunteers, Nico. How we doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Oh, not as good as you. You look great out there today on some of those deep throws. How you feeling?
Feeling great, man. Got an opportunity to go out there and get better with my teammates and, just showcase our talent in this spring game, and I thought we did a good job today.
How important was this spring? Obviously, you start the bowl game, but now you come into this season as a starting quarterback. You know it's your job. What'd you learn? How'd you progress?
Learned a lot, man. I think that bowl game helped me out a lot tremendously, just, being a full starter for a full game. And, I carried that over to this offseason this spring. And, really just improving with my teammates. We've got a couple new guys from the portal, so, just getting them up to par with, our offense and our tempo.
Is it tough being a young guy to step up and be a leader when you're just a freshman?
Yeah, I want to say it's tough. I know expected, as a quarterback coming in, you've got to lead these guys, got to lead your teammates. And like I said last year, just learning from Joe on, how to lead guys and be a pro and leading the team has helped me out. So, I look forward to carrying that over this year.
And last thing, just talk about those wide receivers. You got some big dudes out there who can run and catch.
Man, we got a lot of guys that can go out there in that receiver room. I just look forward to, you know, seeing them make big plays, man. They made a couple big plays today, and yeah, we can only get better from here.
All right, we're excited to watch you, man. Best of luck to you.
Appreciate you, brother. Yes, sir.
There he is, the quarterback of your Volunteers, Mike. And I think I needed a ladder to talk to him.
6'6", great height, and we had 3 kickers go out to close things out. Pressure situation, 45 yards, 3 seconds on the clock, and it's a 3-man place kicking competition trying to replace Charles Campbell this year. Josh Turbyville did not connect. Neither did JT Carver, and just like an Edgar game, you got to go out on a make. And they did with Max Gilbert drilling the field goal to finish off the 2024 Orange and White game here in Knoxville.